There is a moment, just before a truth is released into the world, where it weighs more than anything. It lives in the air between the thought and the finger that will type it. In the held breath before the word, actually. This film is about that weight, about the sentences that stop in our throats, the letters we delete, the confessions that die, fully formed, on the tip of our tongue. We are architects of invisible armour. We forge it in childhood, in classrooms, in boardrooms, in the quiet spaces where love and fear collide. We call it being polite, keeping the peace, picking our battles. But every unspent apology, every hidden piece of our true self, is a single, silent brick. Until one day, we look up and we are walled in. We have built a fortress to protect us, only to discover, too late, that it is a prison. This is the cost of silence. In the next hour, we will dissect this weight. We'll examine the biology that makes silence a poison. We'll measure the regret of the unsaid. We'll explore the societal structures that demand our complicity, and the profound struggle of finding a voice. And finally, we'll seek the liberation that comes not just from speaking, but from the courage to be heard. Because the opposite of silence is not just noise, it is connection. Let's begin where all silence begins, inside the body. When we swallow a truth, the body does not register it as nobility. It registers it as danger. The fight or flight system, our ancient alarm, fires not for a predator in the bushes, but for the boss we didn't confront, the parent we didn't forgive, the partner we didn't choose. Cortisol floods the bloodstream. Adrenaline has nowhere to go. The body prepared for a sprint, but we gave it a smile and a, "I'm fine." Dr. Robert Sapolsky, a neuroendocrinologist at Stanford, spent decades proving that chronic stress, the kind born from emotional suppression, literally shrinks the hippocampus and inflames the body from within. Think of unexpressed emotion as a splinter in the mind. The body wages a low-grade war against it, every single day. Studies from the University of Texas found that people who habitually suppress emotions have higher rates of cardiovascular disease, weakened immune function, and even certain cancers. The body is not built for secrets. It is built for expression. A child who learns to never cry doesn't stop feeling sadness. They just learn to carry it in their bones instead of their voice. Repression is not the absence of emotion. It is emotion turned inward, a river dammed until it floods the valley it was meant to nourish. The German physician Wilhelm Reich called it body armor, the literal muscular tension we hold to keep feelings from surfacing. Have you ever noticed your shoulders rise to your ears during a conversation you desperately want to leave? That is your body screaming what your mouth will not. The stomach aches, the insomnia, the jaw pain from grinding teeth at night. These are not random afflictions. They are the body's unedited diary. The late therapist Alexander Lowen observed that the body never lies. It holds our history in its posture, its breath, its chronic pain. In a sense, silence is the most expensive thing we keep, because we pay for it with our health, one day at a time. But here is what is quietly revolutionary. The moment we name an emotion, the amygdala calms, the prefrontal cortex engages, and the body begins, slowly, to heal. Science is confirming what poets always knew. To speak is to breathe, and to breathe is to live. If silence poisons the body, then regret haunts the mind. Psychologists call it counterfactual thinking, the torturous habit of rewinding the film of our lives and asking, what if I had said something? Research from Northwestern University shows that the pain of inaction, the thing we didn't do, the word we didn't say, intensifies over time while the pain of action fades. The words we swallow don't disappear. They echo. They become the ghosts at every table we sit at for the rest of our lives. Bronnie Ware, a palliative care nurse, spent years with the dying. Their number one regret? I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. The second most common regret: I wish I hadn't held back so much. Think of every unspoken truth as a deposit into an account called emotional debt. And like any debt, it accrues interest. A small resentment left unspoken today becomes a canyon of bitterness 20 years from now. The tragedy of the unsaid is that it protects nothing and costs everything. We tell ourselves we are protecting others, but often we are simply protecting ourselves from the discomfort of being truly seen. The philosopher Søren Kierkegaard wrote that the most common form of despair is not being who you are. There is a particular grief in becoming a stranger to yourself, and knowing that you built the wall, brick by silent brick. But here is what the dying also teach us. Regret is a map. It doesn't just show where we went wrong, it reveals what we loved most. If regret burns, it is because it illuminates. It shows us with searing clarity the shape of what matters. The question then is not, how do we avoid regret? We cannot. The question is, what do we do with the light it gives us? Knowing the cost of silence is one thing. Breaking it is another. The voice is not a switch. It is a muscle. And for many of us, it has been atrophying since childhood. The first time you try to speak a long-buried truth, your body will revolt. Your hands will shake. Your throat will close. Your mind will flood with every reason to stop. This is not weakness. This is the nervous system doing exactly what it was trained to do. Keep you silent, keep you safe, keep you small. Dr. Brené Brown reminds us that vulnerability is not the absence of fear. It is the decision that something else matters more. The courage to speak is not the courage of the battlefield. It is quieter. It is the courage of the open hand instead of the clenched fist. It is the courage of the person who says, for the first time, I am not okay. Harriet Lerner, in The Dance of Anger, teaches us that effective speaking is a skill. It can be learned, it can be practiced, it can be refined. Start with the small truths, the ones that cost you the least. Build the muscle before you lift the weight. You do not need to deliver your truth like a TED Talk. You can whisper it. You can write it. You can sing it. You can simply live it. Let us return to where we began. Alex is still on the bench. The phone is still in hand. But something has shifted. The half-typed text is gone. In its place, a new message. I've been carrying something heavy. I'm not sure how to say it, but I want to try. The message sends. A single check mark appears. Delivered. Liberation does not always arrive like thunder. Sometimes it arrives like a whisper that finally lets you breathe. Speaking your truth is not about blame. It is not about winning. It is about reclamation. Taking back authorship of your own story. Not every truth spoken will heal a relationship, but every truth spoken heals the person who speaks it. The philosopher Hannah Arendt wrote that, the moment we begin to speak, we begin to think. Language is not just communication, it is cognition. It is creation. There is a unique freedom in replacing assumptions with understanding, in hearing the other person's silence too. The Japanese art of kintsugi teaches us that broken pottery, mended with gold, becomes more beautiful than the original. Our relationships can be the same.